Hey, my 5 or 6 viewers. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. You know, they've been talking a lot on the internet and even the regular mainstream news about what would happen if we had a major CME event or a solar class flare. Now, if you look back in history, they talk about history in hundreds of thousands of years, but in the late 1800s, we had an event called the Carrington event. Now, this just happened about the same time we were starting to get electricity throughout the whole country, so it was no big deal. The Carrington event was a major CME which wiped out all the electricity in the United States. Now, it wasn't a big deal then because there wasn't a lot of electricity and we surely didn't depend on it as we do now. But, a little more than 100 years ago, if this were to happen today, it would set us back hundreds of years. Think about this. No electricity, no Mac machines, no access to money, no clean water. What would happen to nuclear power plant coolings? No gas, no heat, nothing to keep us warm. I mean, everything that we depend on is electricity and our power grid. So even if it's not electricity, that power grid is what we put everything else through. So imagine having no internet. I couldn't be talking to you now. No way of cooling nuclear power plants. No fresh water. No way of getting money. Even that money wouldn't be worth anything at that point anyways, except for setting it on fire and making yourself warm. But they're talking about this a lot more and a lot more. And I've been saying for a while now that I think there's a major event coming. I certainly hope this isn't it. But, our timeline in history from what they told us is so completely wrong, it's not even funny. But this is one they can't dodge because it's short in history and we have a record of it. So, is it going to happen soon? I certainly hope not. Could it happen soon? Absolutely. If it did happen soon, we'll be in trouble? Absolutely. Could we protect it and stop this from happening? Absolutely. But not any of those billions and billions and trillions of dollars they're putting towards our budget is going anywhere to protect our energy grid. Nowhere at all towards that. Why not? And it looks like all the powers that be are in ways of hoarding money, collecting everything, getting ready for a big thing to happen, so that they're taken care of and we're not. It's so in our face that the powers that be looks like it's getting ready for something and we're not part of it. What else could it be? I certainly hope it's not that, but it certainly could happen. So what should you do? Protect yourself. What could you make? All right. The power grid's going to go down. First thing is need is transportation. You want to have a car. So we have to make a Faraday field. A Faraday field is something that protects the energy that you have. Take your car battery, or take any car battery, an extra one. Take it out. After you take that car battery out of your car, connect the positive and negative terminals of that car together. It'll take about 15 minutes or a few minutes to deplete all that energy from the car. So now it's not a focal point on that CME to direct towards. Now you have a battery. You're going to need to start that car up. What is a Faraday cage? We have them, we don't even really know it. Your microwave oven could be a Faraday cage. Your clothes dryer could be a Faraday cage. So in a perfect situation, you take your battery out of your car and put it in your microwave, unplugged of course, or your dryer, and keep it there as an extra one, just in case this happens. Because if it does happen, you won't smell it, you won't see it, you won't feel it, you won't hear it, but it'll happen. And if it does, at least you have that battery put back in your car again to start it up for transportation. And remember, the gas stations won't have electricity to pump that gas up. So you're going to have to even, be ready for that. But I think if you're one of the very few who creates a Faraday cage for their car so that you have one starting and running on the fuel that you have a much better chance of surviving if something like this happens. I just been saying for a while, I just think that something big is going to happen. They're not telling us about it, and they know. So, is it that? I don't know. Hopefully, isn't it? I hope it's not. But if it does, can you be prepared? Absolutely, you can. Now, if you want to be part of this world where the powers that be and the Kardashians and all that stuff are, alive, that's up to you. I'd rather not be here personally, but, that's completely up to you. But there are ways that you can survive anything. Remember, we are human beings. We can get through and pretty much conquer anything if we put our minds to it. But we have to put our minds to it and be prepared. So, if you want to think about something like this, which seems like the biggest thing that would be a threat to your survival, then, look into what I just said. Faraday cage, making sure you have an extra vehicle, battery, things like that. Just in case. It doesn't cost you much money to do it. Faraday cage, you don't have to buy one off the internet. You have one. Buy an old microwave. Put a battery in there. Buy an old clothes dryer. Put an old battery in there. Get a car, secondary car. Keep in your, side of your yard. After you take the battery out, connect the battery's positive and negative terminals of that car together for a couple of minutes just to drain all that energy out of it so it doesn't become a target for that CME when it comes here. And when that CME comes and goes, guess what? You'll be able to put that battery in your car and start it up and go. If that happens. But I don't know. Seems like these guys know something big's going to happen, and they ain't telling us. Do your homework. Look into it. Nice talking with you. Be prepared. Something's coming.